Volume 2, Hadith 161 is in Chapter 5 of Book 16 before you, narrated Abdullah bin Abbas. The sun eclipsed in the lifetime of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Allah's apostle offered the eclipse prayer and stood for a long period equal to the period in which one could recite Surat al-Baqarah, Chapter 2, which is 286 verses. It's longer than even Surah 7. Then he bowed for a long time and then stood up for a long period which was shorter than that of the first standing. Then he bowed again for a long time, but for a shorter period than the first. Then he prostrated twice and then stood up for a long period which was shorter than that of the first standing. Then he bowed for a long time, which was shorter than the previous one, and then he raised his head and stood up for a long period, which was shorter than the first standing. Then he bowed for a long time, which was shorter than the first bowing, and then prostrated twice and finished the prayer. By then the sun eclipse had cleared. The Prophet then said, "The sun and the moon are two of the signs of Allah. They eclipse neither because of the death of somebody, nor because of his life, i.e. birth. So when you see them, remember Allah." The people say, "O Allah's apostle, we saw you taking something from your place, and then we saw you retreating." The Prophet replied, "I saw paradise and stretched my hands towards a bunch of its fruits, and had I taken it, you would have eaten from it as long as the world remains. I also saw hellfire, and I had never seen such a horrible sight. I saw that most of the inhabitants were women." The people asked, "O Allah's apostle, why is it so?" The Prophet replied, "Because of their ungratefulness." It was asked whether they are ungrateful to Allah. The Prophet said, "They are ungrateful to their companions of life, husbands, and ungrateful to good deeds. If you are benevolent to one of them throughout the life, and if she sees anything undesirable in you, she will say, 'I have never had any good from you.'" So obviously it's talking about those who are like that. It's not a statement about all the women. And obviously more females become women than boys become men. And women live longer, so there's also those factors involved.